It's the Tasmanian Devil back in the building. A 20-year buildup.
Yes. Hi, how are
Hey,
you?
first of all, good morning.
Good morning.
Shout out to you, Miss Alba, for being with me.
It's a pleasure. Kind of
Okay.
excited. First time doing this?
It's your first time ever recording something like this, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me bring you into my world, okay? See, I've been recording, I want to say, for at least 10 years. Back in the day, me and my wife had a podcast together called Griot and Mango because I'm Haitian, she's Dominican. We eat griot, which is like pork chunks, like chicharron. And I know mongoose, mongoose. You know where you from? You know they got on lock over there, Dominicans. But we had a thing together for like years. We record, and then she got a little nervous because of her job, because she's mouthy. You know how you Manhattan Center people are. So
Yes.
so she was like, "Yo, we gotta take a break from this." And then my cousin, he was like, "Yo, you should start up again. You should start up." So now I have this new platform. It's called the Break Room. I spell
Okay.
it Brakee, Brake. I mean. And I spelled it that way because I feel like sometimes we should stop, take a break, pause, and reassess what we're doing in our lives and reflect before we move forward. So I invite you on today, one, because me and you have a shared history from like a lifetime ago.
Of course. You used to give me rides home. Yes.
Yes, yeah, like
Oopsie.
and the hoopty, man, like just we were kids back in the day. And I'm talking about 203, like we were babies back
No,
then.
you're right.
And I've always, since back then, appreciated you because I felt like from back then, as a teenager, I looked at you and I was like, oh man, she's an individual. She thinks for herself. She has her own goals, her own mindset. She has her own personality and character. And I always felt like you're going places. So I've always valued throughout the years. Obviously, you left me,
Not really. We always still talk,
of
we're always
course.
like,
I know, but physically you were around, and then life happened, which I'm sure we'll get a little into, and you went back to the Manhattan Center, went back to the city, and life took a turn for you in various ways. But I've always, from afar or close by, followed your journey. I've always been rooting for you.
"Oh,
Maybe I haven't expressed that enough as a friend, and if I haven't, my bad. I apologize. But deep in my heart, I've always prayed for you and rooted for you. So
I
I'm happy.
appreciate that.
So I'm happy, Miss Alba, that you're here with me today, Miss 21, Miss.
They're still my favorite things.
I
I'm
know
still
they
about
are.
the 21 and Taz. Forgot
I,
it.
I remember. I remember. You're technically a Leo or Virgo.
I'm a Leo,
You're still a
but
Leo.
kind of like borderline Virgo. But yeah, sure, Leo.
Hey,
And I have a rising in Virgo.
here go with the rising. 'Cause my wife is big on the celestial stuff. Like I'm a Scorpio with the moon rising. That's Pisces or whatever. I'm like, yo, what? I need a chart.
So, for me, I'm not really like heavy on the zodiacs. I'm really big on auras,
Oris. What's Oris?
like a person's energy,
Okay. Oh, of course, Oris.
right? So, like, I'm able to pick up on a person's energy and I can know without you even saying hi or bye whether I'm going to be okay with you or not.
Really?
It's insane.
How
You
long you
pick up
had
on
that?
people's vibes. Always. I think it's why I might come across as a little bit stuck up.
You feel you present that way, or people perceive you that way?
People receive me that way. Like I'm not friendly or I'm too stuck up or I think I'm all that. It's not until you get to know me that you kind of see a different side.
Well, to your point, I do feel like a lot of our a lot of people in general are in I hate to say the word matrix, but a lot of people are caught up in living day-to-day lives without either challenging themselves, thinking about others, or perceiving others in depth. So when I hear you say that, I feel like you're an air light to me because I also pick up the vibes and energy. And I try not to prejudge people, but I can be a prejudge. But I try not to. But if you're like you said, if your aura's throwing me off, I'm like, I don't know if I can hang out with you. So that's you. All right, I want to get into a lot with you because a lot's happened in the last 20 years since we used to hang out all the time. But before we do that, it's early in the morning, by the way. It's Saturday morning, and you were working out this morning on the Peloton. So shout out to
Thank
you.
you.
So shout, oh yeah, look at you in the back. So shout out to you for being fancy. Shout out to you.
Thanks, thanks.
What's this whole Peloton thing that I've missed out on the last 5+ years? Like this whole phenomenon. How effective is it? How dope is it? And what do you like about using a Peloton?
So I got it for Valentine's Day, probably like over a year and a half ago. Kind of, I opened the door and bam, here's my bike.
Mm,
He knows I'm very big on biking. I started during COVID.
right.
So during COVID, I was working from home 24/7. So I was kind of going stir crazy in my house. I started working out, doing with Yusuf Myers. So I would literally bike at 7 in the morning, do some work. 10:30, I would start my PRX workout. Then at like 5 in the evening, I'll bike again, and then I'll start another workout at 8 p.m. So it kind of broke away from my everyday.
Mm,
I turned into so something about me when I start something, I kind of go hard and I kind of obsess.
mm,
So during COVID, I must have lost like 20 pounds.
wow.
I was the slimmest, the fittest I've ever been. And this is coming from someone who was a basketball player forever.
Yeah, of course. I know you're a basketball player.
So the Peloton I love because while it's different, like you tell me go to a cycling class, go to any class, I'm down. I'm like the first one there, like let's go.
Right.
But with the Peloton, I'm able to work out from home. I don't have to worry about the baby. The baby has his own little bike. I don't know if you see it.
Wow.
So when he sees me on it, he gets on it too, and it's a way of motivating his physical activity. But I love it, even if it's just to hop on and working from home. It's definitely a game changer. I added like an accessory to it that I can add my laptop on it, so I'll be in meetings and biking.
Damn, so you
So
over here like like working out and working?
yeah, but it's also I like to multitask a lot.
No kidding.
Yeah, no, like to the extreme. Like I am the one that will be writing a paper, hearing music, and talking to someone, and I'll get an A on this paper.
You funny. Yeah, that's I can see you being a multitasker because like I said, when we grew up together, I always knew you to be someone who can be in different circles, different mediums, and always flourish. So it doesn't shock me to hear that. And on top of that, me and you are kindred in this respect where we both are bikers. For me, for instance, I've been biking for like since I was like 11, 10 years old, maybe earlier than that. So, I've always loved biking. So now in adulthood, when I saw that you were biking, I was like, "Oh wow, look at Al! Me and her are both bikers." Because you be riding, you be
I be
outside,
out.
you be on the heavy Hudson, you be on the West Side Highway or around there or underneath.
I did the 40-mile tour.
You did do the 40-mile tour. What was that like?
I loved it, and I maybe because I have like a high athletic, I
Endurance?
didn't I didn't train for it
You
at
didn't train
all.
for it.
I did not train for it. I didn't like I wasn't tired throughout. I was able to make it. I had enough endurance. I loved it. And I did it with my stepdad. I did it with my little brother. And it was a different experience. It was something cool to experience with them.
The fort. Where is it? What's the? Do you remember where it goes? The travel, the pathway.
It started around 2nd Street and it ended by Staten Island.
Jesus Christ! So the Verrazano y'all take? Oh
Mhm.
my God!
Going up the Verrazano was probably the worst experience ever. But as a biker, as someone who's been doing this for a while, your bike makes all the difference. All the difference.
Can I confess something to you? I've been cheating since September. I treated myself and bought a e-bike. So I know the bike community is probably lashes. Listen, for like
It's so cheap. That's cheating, Mike. Like
it's,
you don't even feel it. You can go up hills like no tomorrow on the e-bike.
listen, Linda, listen. Let me explain myself. For like, all right, so 2014, I bought a nice GTX bike. I go to the podiatrist because my foot was killing me. I go to the podiatrist. It's Pelham Parkway, all right? I park my bike, all right, nice GTX bike. I park my bike, brand new, a week old. I go to my appointment. A patient walks in like 20 minutes later. Hey, So somebody's bike's being stolen. So I'm like,
What?
hey, so I'm like laying in the bed of the I was like, hey, get that person then. Don't tell me. Stop him. So I get up and I run out and that thing was gone already. So I was upset.
Wow.
But in the same week, I bought the same bike again, different color, right? So that bike I've been riding for 10 years. All right. Pretty much. Then this past summer, I just caught the e-bike fever. I was just jealous. I was like, yo, you know this after over the past 10 years, I've been going up hills. And by the way, I bike everywhere for the last 10 years. Brooklyn Bridge, go to Queen, whatever. I didn't matter. I have my headphones on, I zone out, I don't feel the burn. Not until like I sit down at night, but during the day I'm good. So I did my hill bid. I did my hill
So you
jail.
deserve the
Yeah,
electric?
I deserve the finer things in life now. So I did my bid for the last 10 years. I got the e-bike fever. Shout out to my boy Roberto. Roberto, what he taught me in the winter months a few years ago was he would buy like the stationary thing where you put the bike on, you dock it to work out at the crib, to get your stuff in. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, my cousin showed me that, and I'm like, I have a electric bike already. I don't need this. But yeah, I seen it.
Right. So you know what I'm talking about. So I did that for a little bit, but I just wanted to go up I wanted to go certain hills more, and I wanted to travel upstate more.
Okay.
Because for a long time I didn't have a car, and now we got a car again. But for a long time I didn't. So I was missing out on going certain places.
The Palisades. Have you done the Palisades?
Yeah, yeah, I've done the pathway, and I did the pathway with my old bike. All right, don't judge me too much now.
Palisades.
Relax, relax, Kill. I did the Palisades trip. So, but I just was missing I was missing just like going to certain places. So I bought an e-bike and I got a fat tire too. I know. Look at the smug face you have on me right now.
You know, it's fun. Let me tell you, I bought a little e-bike. The little ones that like it looks like a toy. It's like literally maybe like this big. And I
And
used it when I was pregnant.
yeah, oh well, yeah. Oh
Because I
yeah.
was like, not taking the train. I'm not taking the bus. I hated walking up hills pregnant. And I was like, e-bike it is. And my
Man,
19-year-old uses the e-bike now.
you just said you're 19-year-old. We gotta get
Yeah,
into
it's
that.
crazy.
Oh my God, we gotta get into parenthood. Jesus, tub and flow.
But for me, I love biking because I hate to run.
You just took the words right
I
out of my
hate it.
mouth.
I hate it.
I hate to run too. All right, why do you hate to run? I'm gonna answer you afterwards.
I think it has to do with the fact of the multitasking, right? I can't get into this zone, the runner's zone. I can't do it. I can't silence my brain. The whole time I'm like with my watch, oh, 1.5, turn around, 3 miles, done. I can't do it. And I have a friend that's an avid runner. She loves it, Jashira. And we did one time and she's like, yeah, we're going to do 3 miles. And I'm like, okay, we'll go. Mike, I kid you not. 1.5. I said, let's turn around. No, no, a little bit further, a little bit further. She took me all the way down to 96th Street on the west side where it wraps around to come back the other way. It must have been like 7 miles, the whole thing. And the whole time I'm like, you just tricked me. Like, no, I can't do this. Mike, I got home and like I felt like I had a fever. I went and took a shower and I went to bed the rest of the night.
I can imagine.
I was dead. And I'm like, she's like, but you bike all the time. I was like, no, no, no,
It's
no.
different.
Biking is
It's
different.
different.
I love to bike. You told me to run, it's like ridiculous.
I don't feel it when I'm biking. I don't. Maybe in the aftermath, but I don't feel it. Like you said, maybe it's the multitasking. Maybe
Because you
it's
are multitasking, right? Like you're pedaling, you have to steer, then you're
yeah.
listening to music. Like there's no way you can get distracted while you're biking.
To add to your point, listen, man. I hate working out in general. I do it. I do it. God don't judge me. I do it, but I hate it. Like, I'm not one of those guys who like, yeah, let's go in the gym and pump iron. I go, but I hate it. But with that being said, when it comes to biking, because we're multitasking, because we're steering, we're traveling at a faster pace, and the wind's hitting my face, not my hair, obviously, but the wind's hitting my
Yeah,
face. And,
I hope you're using a helmet,
this is where you can call me out on this. I don't use a helmet. I need to start using my helmet. I'm bugging. I know.
And on the electric bike, no.
And yeah, you're right. Shame on me. I should be using my helmet more. I don't. I'm a little renegade with that. I'll do better. I'm gonna start wearing my helmet more.
At least on the e-bike, like a regular biking, whatever, it's what it is. Unless you're in the street, then I highly suggest it because I feel like I've met a lot of people that've gotten like thrown off their bikes. Like God forbid, but
Oh yeah, God
better
forbid, knock
safe than
on wood.
sorry
You better say this. You're
because
right. You're right. I'll wear
drivers
my
are crazy.
drivers are crazy, and to add to your point, I'm a little crazy when it comes to my bike. Even my old school bike. What I mean by that is, I'm one of those bikers who I'm respectful of the road, but I have no problem cutting through traffic at times to get where I gotta go.
No,
I know, I know, I know, I know. Don't get me wrong. I'm also very like a nervous Nancy, where like I follow the signs, and I'm like the red light. I'm looking around, and I'm definitely crazy in that respect too. But I have no problem if traffic's flowing. I'm cutting through certain people, certain cars. I know. I know. It sounds terrible what I'm saying right
no,
now.
don't ever get a motorcycle ever.
No, I would not. And I had friends who've, had accidents on motorcycles. One person passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Two people had bad accidents, and a colleague of mine, like his whole like forehead is like it's like dented a little bit because of it. So yeah, right on the Bronx River Parkway.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I've been scared straight. And another colleague, his teeth pretty much cracked up, like all because of bike accidents. So I fully understand the dangers of the road, but I should be doing better. But to your point, a friend of mine, he's a sprinter.
I
When he
can
started,
sprint. Sprinting is a lot more fun than jogging.
okay, I don't like running. Period. I don't like no leg work that's not on a bike. Okay, I don't like none of that stuff. And maybe with me, I'm a heavy set dude. I'm still, I'm in the upper 200s. When I'm like on a track running or on the street running, I just feel it more as uncomfortable. And maybe it's the shoes I'm wearing and I'm not wearing the right stuff, but I
No,
just
but
don't like
you
it.
definitely feel it on your knees. It's not, after a while, it destroys your knees.
So you're a baller, you're a hooper. Why is it that when it comes to playing basketball growing up and even now, even though I don't play ball as much, why don't I feel it as much?
Because you're multitasking. You're playing defense. You're on offense. You're trying to get the ball. You're trying to make it in. You're trying to win somebody. It's competitive.
Competitive, it's
Yes,
fun.
it's different. Running, it's like, I'm telling you, Mike, it's like, I
Yeah,
can't do it.
to all you runners out there, what's so fun about this? What like why y'all doing this?
No, let me tell you, my brother just did a half and
No
I was
kidding.
there. And one of the signs, there was a sign and it said, "You did this to yourself." And it
My
made
God.
me laugh so bad because it's true. You see them like, there are people that like ask for help a mile in, from what
Or
my brother
vomit.
was telling me, like vomiting. And it's a lot. That's why you have to train. Like the fact that you have to train to run
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to train to bike. I didn't train to bike 40 miles.
About 40 miles. Yeah. I like I said, I've done the Brooklyn Bridge trips, Rosedale, Queens trips to visit my aunt, and I just don't feel it. I just don't
No,
feel it.
I think with running, it's a mind game, it's a challenge. And I think that's why so many people kind of go toward it, right? Like they have to commit to training, they have to commit to being able to do this. And then when they do it, like there were people at the finish line crying. And I'm like, I felt that because
It's emotional.
my
It's emotional.
14 miles, they did 14 miles because my brother tracked it on his watch and he was like, it was mostly uphill. He felt it. He was like, wow. And I'm like, kudos to you, everyone who runs.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, shout out to ya. Listen, I'm not
Kudos.
hating. Kudos to ya.
No, love the mind power.
My cousin Mary, she does them too. She does the city joints, the 5K and all that stuff. Shout out to ya. I just can't get jiggy with it. I can't. I don't have.
I can't do it. And it's so funny because my friend Jashira, I just told, it was her birthday the other day and I haven't seen her. And I'm like, hey, I'm even down to go running with you. Just tell me.
That's how.
Just
Listen,
tell me. I will go running just to
that's how
hang out
much you
with
love
you.
her. That's
Yeah.
how much you love her. Even through this terrible task.
Yes. I told her, I was like, I will even run. Let's go for a jog.
Yo, listen, yeah, I feel the same way. Listen, if you love somebody that much to do that, Shara, she loves your ass, right? Just all right to share. I'll clip that just for her. But let me ask you a question. Speaking of fitness and running and all that stuff, what do you make of this new era we're in of the Ozempic era? What do you make of this?
So I actually know people that have tried it,
Same here.
right? So you have Ozempic right now. You also have the phentermine pills that kind of curve your appetite.
I never heard of these Venturine pills. Okay.
Yes. So phentermine is also something that a lot of people are using to lose the weight because it curbs your appetite and it helps you lose the weight, and it's not something that you're injecting into your body.
Mm,
I feel like Ozempic has a lot of side effects that have not been studied and fully looked at.
right.
But either way, right? All of these things are just quick fixes. And at the end of the day, they're not sustainable. So that kind of sucks. So then you're here and you're losing anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds the first 2 months,
Mhm.
depending on your body weight, of course. Because if you're slim already and you're just trying to lose this little gut I have right here, you're going to lose like 5 pounds. But so you lose all this weight and then you go back to regular life and you go back to eating.
Right.
So I feel like you can't go ahead and do quick fixes when it comes to dieting because once you're done with the quick fix, you go back to being you. You have to change it mentally. It's like
My
the people
mindset.
that get lipo and get all these surgical procedures done. What are you doing? Like, start eating healthy first
Hmm.
and then go through these drastic measures. So then when you see the results you want, you're able to maintain them.
I think to add to your point, and I agree with you, to add to your point, and as someone who's a big dude who's all my life battled with weight and mindset and discipline, I do feel like you feel. I feel like, first of all, I'm nervous about the potential side effects. I'm hearing maybe it could be gastrointestinal stuff, could be liver stuff. Who knows?
Are you going to try it?
No, 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 no. Maybe like a year or so ago during the physical, just so you know, I'm one of those guys who do go to the doctor. I know a lot of men don't. Yeah,
Yay!
I do. I do
You
go.
gotta clap for that, Mark. Because men do not like to go to the
And
doctor.
men don't go to the doctor for not until like their arms hanging off their
Yes, when
body.
they're
There's
dying
an arrow
or
in their
like,
neck.
yes. No, men do not go to the doctor.
Man, I have an idea why we'll get into that. I do go. I mean, listen, in 2023 was it or 2022? I got a colonoscopy. And just so you know, they found something.
Yeah?
They had found an adenoma
Benign?
polyp. Yeah. Well, no, no, no. Actually, he told me it was an adenoma polyp. And I was like, what's that mean? He goes, well, in about 10 years, it would have grew to something, and it would have took you out.
Wow.
So, and you know what it is? Maybe I turned 40 this year in November. So this is 2022 summer, Mayish, June-ish. So I was what, 3 years younger. My math is terrible. He was telling
37.
37. There you go. Look at you. And centers. Shout out to that Regents.
Man.
But yeah, they weren't trying to approve me for the colonoscopy at first. Like, you're too
Because you're too
young.
young.
You're too young. You're wilding, relaxed, not that serious. But just for reference, I saw Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther. He died at 42 and was diagnosed in his late 30s. You know, there's a podcaster and a journalist. His name is Combat Jack. He died in like 2017 at 53. And he was diagnosed maybe like in the summertime and died in December.
Wow. So it just took him out.
Took him out. So little by little, you're seeing, and not just him, various people in my personal life just are getting colon cancer, men. So I just said, now you know what? I should just, and for the record, what really jumped it off for me to do a colonoscopy was, I want to say, okay, so June I got the colonoscopy. I want to say the fall prior, so 2021-ish fall, my body was different. When you go to the bathroom, how your body works, the time of day, what you discharge, TMI, I'm sorry. But that's right. So we're gonna get to that too. So your body. And in the fall, I was constipated. And I was like, this is weird. I'm usually A-okay at the job. Usually at the job, I can go on my time on a break, put my newspaper out, play my Tetris, zone out, and do what I gotta do. Like we all do at work. But this was different for like 2, 3 months. I'm like, something's not right. So I pushed for it. And the doctors were like, well, do you have blood in the stool? I was like, no, not really.
You should have been like, yes.
At first, I was being honest. And then I was getting like dismissed. So I started lying, like, yeah, this blood in the stool. Yeah, this, that. But I knew no matter what, something wasn't right. So the doctor who approved of me, he was leaving the office. He was changing practice, but he still approved me on one of his last people. He
Do you
approved me.
think that's what might have done it? The fact that he was leaving?
He was leaving, so he did it. And then he passed me off to somebody else coming in. So when that person did it, he said, all right, we'll do it for you. He knocked me out. Shots anesthesia. That was fast. Knocked me out. When I woke up, he's like, hey, come here. I said, what? He goes, honestly, I have to apologize. I said, why? Because if I was a person to approve you, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have approved you. I would have just said, no, you're too young. But I'm glad you did this. I said, why? And he was like, well, you're A-okay right now. But check this out. And he showed me the polyp. He was like, you had one. I scooped it out. And that would have came back and haunted you potentially. So he was like, I'll see
I,
you. He told me, I'll see you in 5 years.
you know what's crazy, Mike? And it sucks that we have to say that. You have to be your own biggest advocate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this because I have a friend who just passed. And
My
if you can advocate for yourself, please make sure that you have someone that has medical knowledge, that will do the research, that will go ahead and advocate on your behalf. Because doctors will sit there and think they know better and they don't know anything.
Right.
It's like you said, right? Like, you know your body. Your body will show you, give you signs, will tell you, will malfunction in some way, somehow, to let you know that something is wrong.
Why
And
don't
some
lie?
people don't listen to it. Some people don't listen to it. Like high blood pressure, triglycerides. Come on, really, guys? Like, you shouldn't have high blood pressure. You should not have high cholesterol.
I agree.
And if you do, these are already warning signs that your body's like it's like, hey, we need an oil change here.
Oil
Something's
change.
up.
We need an oil change. Something's up. You're right. And the body doesn't lie to you.
It doesn't.
It
It's like the
doesn't lie to you.
car. It's like our bodies are like a car,
Absolutely.
right? You need to maintain it. You need to do the oil changes. You need to change the steering fluid, get the brake fluid. It's the same thing with our bodies, right? Like, we don't have the lights that our cool, fancy cars have,
Right.
but they're warning signs, and no one really listens to it.
Why are we treating our bodies like hoopties then?
I think it's fear. Honestly, the underlying cause of it all, it's fear of the unknown. It's fear of walking into a clinic or a doctor's office and having someone tell you, no, you're fine. Or having someone tell you, you might have terminal cancer. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's kind of extreme, but I think a lot of it is that. It's a lot of, like, I know people that suffer from heart conditions and lie to themselves. No, the doctor said I'm fine. You have congestive heart failure. What do you mean you're fine?
Right,
No, you're
right.
not.
Fear, man, fear is such you just tapped into something in depth about men that we avoid the fear of our mortality. I agree. First and foremost, I think you hit it around the nose with the whole car analogy and the fear aspect. I'm scared. Here's the thing. I used to be fearless about death when I was single and not a parent.
Okay.
I used to be like, whatever, I'm gonna die whenever I die. Who cares? La 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 la, whatever. When I was like, when we were the kids and in our 20s and we would hang out, in my mind, I have a natural fear of how I may die. Like, I don't want to get robbed and shot and whatever, or I don't want
No,
to
I'm
risk them
okay
death.
with those. You know what's mine?
What?
I do not want to be buried alive. I do not want to be burnt. And I don't want to be suffocated or drowned. Do you know why? Because
Claustrophobia?
because you are consciously aware that you're going to die and you can't do anything about
About it. Your mind playing tricks
it.
is messing
Yes,
with you.
that just knowing I'm going to die and I can't do anything about it. I can't die that way. There's no way. I'd rather you shoot me. Shoot me. Just come and throw.
Be done with it.
Yes.
Be done with. Look at you. Look at us being all morbid. No, you're right though. And by the way, I don't.
About it.
No, I feel you. And in fact, I always hear that. I don't know how. I don't know how people know this, but I hear drowning is a very painful death. I've heard too.
Yes. Because you're literally swallowing all the water and you're being asphyxiated by the water.
Yeah, asphyxia.
because
Yeah.
you can't breathe, and that's why your lungs are filled with water. That's how they end up knowing postmortem that that's how you died, because your lungs are filled with water.
Sidebar: the Final Destination movie series has done terrible for my psyche when it comes to this. Like all I get is like different ways to die. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop watching this stuff. Mind you, there's a new one
I
coming
love
out.
scary movies.
Yeah, me too.
I'm big.
But yeah, the fear. Listen, I growing up, I didn't have a fear of me leaving this earth, but now that I'm a parent and a husband, I'm just like, yo, I gotta make sure if I do go, that my kids are straight. I can't go too early. My daughter, my youngest daughter, she's special needs. So
Yeah, we're driving with no helmet and zooming in between cars.
man, the hypocrisy word is out there for me. Yeah, I understand. I know. I should be doing better. Maybe that's maybe my small, arrogant hint left of fearlessness or
But
quote
don't
unquote.
feel bad, right? Because I go skydiving. I just went snowboarding the other day.
You've been
I
skydiving?
I did skydiving. I
What was,
jump off cliffs into lakes and rivers.
what was that like skydiving?
I loved it. I think for me, my fear level, when it spiked, it wasn't getting thrown off the plane. It was seeing how tiny the plane was and the amount of people that were being jammed into it.
My God,
And the
one of
whole
those Cessnas.
time, the whole time I'm like, what's the capacity of this airplane?
How much do you weigh?
What's the capacity here? Because it's literally like two benches and you're sliding in on both rows.
Oh
So
my
the whole
God,
time I'm like, what's the capacity of this?
oh my
But
God.
I had a great experience. I want to do it again, but I want to do it like on the ocean. And I know they have one. I think it's in Australia. So that's on my bucket list.
What's your mind state while you're in the air, thousands of feet up? What are you thinking?
How beautiful it is. You have to keep in mind I'm very like outdoorsy, right? So
Sure.
I love hiking. I love seeing the views. You're talking about being thousands of feet up in the air and literally coming down. The initial break when you come off the aircraft, it feels like you're coming down a roller coaster. You know,
Yeah.
that, yes, you get that. And then you kind of break the barrier and then you kind of just glide through the sky. And it's an awesome experience.
Jesus. I can imagine it. My boy Darnell, shout out to you. He did it. I've been invited to do it. I just don't know if I'm that much of a thrill seeker. Mind you, like I like thrills, but I like not that kind of thrill. That's too much for me. My heart would probably give out midair, like, all right, I'm out. Because like that's a matter of fact, not just skydiving. There's another thing people do where not no not bungee jumping, but there's a thing people do where they do gliding. They do gliding like on mountains. They wear
Mhm.
a certain suit and just glide through
Yeah.
the jumping. Like, you know what I'm talking about. And they just soar through like a big mountainous area. Mind you, people sometimes get smacked by mountains too, and I can't do none of that stuff. You're better than
I don't know
me,
about the gliding.
but you see,
And I
you
wouldn't be able to do bungee jumping either.
never done that. You never done that.
I wouldn't do it. I feel like, so I suffer from migraines, like really bad
Oh,
migraines. And I feel like the pullback would be a trigger for me. Because it's essentially you're dropping. And when you
right.
get there, it kind of pulls you back
Yeah,
up.
yeah. The tension of it all.
Yeah. The tension of, no, I can't do it. Like at that point, just let me jump. I don't need anything holding me. Just let me jump.
Mind you, you said jump off cliffs. You like doing that too. Listen, as a kid, I used to go to my cousin's house in Jersey, and we would go to Action Park. I don't remember Action Park.
It's Mountain Creek now.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right, Mountain Creek. All right, you're right, Mountain Creek. But they still have a cliff. I never remember.
They still have
They
it.
still have it.
Yes.
That shouldn't be legal. That thing is like a hazard.
Dude, that's like the best thing in that park. Really?
Yeah, but I used to be like, hey, this is not kosher. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump off, but this is not. This should be safety. This is not real.
But they tell you have to be a good swimmer.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I'm not gonna say decent, I'm an okay swimmer. When I was a kid, I was a better swimmer, but for a while I stopped swimming. So then last summer I went to not I forgot what state park it is upstate. It's not in Rockland. It's like in Yorktown. I forgot the name of the park. It'll come to me. But I went to a pool with my daughters, and there's a diving board. And I said, I got it. I can swim. I got it. Yo. I jumped off the board, full cannonball. I dropped to the water. In my mind, I'm like, "All right, let me get up now." I'm doing my little froggy thing, getting up. I'm like, "Hey, I'm not that fast anymore." It's not like 10 years ago.
Did you start panicking?
I started panicking. I'm like in the middle of the water. I hyperventilated. So I say, "Yo, to basics." I'm doggy paddling back to the back to the little buoy, back to the string. I'm doggy paddling, and I might catch onto it. I'm just like floating, and my daughter Lauren's like, she's from the on the dock, like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, water in my mouth. "I'm okay." Mind you, I'm like dying. So then I had to like gather myself, and then finally I did a little stroke back to her. But I said, "Oh, I gotta get back in the gym." That's the first thing I said to myself.
You feel it. You
Yeah.
feel it. It's a difference. I'm really big on water. Like I go kayaking, I do the paddleboarding. I did paddleboarding in the Hudson River last summer, which
Okay.
was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh
Paddleboard. Okay.
I utmost respect to the Hudson River because holy crap.
No,
I was not expecting the current is insane.
strong. It's strong.
Yes. I'm thinking, oh, it's just a river. So easy because I go to Florida all the time and I do it like on their bay and I do all these different places and it's not that bad.
Florida water
But
is not Hudson River waters. I can imagine.
it was, and the current was so strong. Like we were supposed to, it was in Terrytown. We were supposed to go all the way to the lighthouse. We didn't even make it to the lighthouse
No.
because of how strong the current was. So we ended up like turning back when we got to the Tappan Zee Bridge.
I love water too. When I growing up, my uncle Charlie, shout out to him, my aunt's boyfriend, formerly, white dude too, Irish. He used to take me and my godbrother canoeing, like by Bear Mountain. So I grew up with water, like canoeing with him, paddling with him, and it was always fun to me. We make little sandwiches and we dock at a lake and whatnot. One thing I didn't do back then that I want to get into now, and I wonder if you've ever done it, I want to go fish.
Oh my God, my dad loves to fish.
Your dad loves to fish.
My dad loves fishing.
Okay. I want
I
to,
can't do it. I
you can't
can't
do it?
do
Why
it.
not?
I go with him and I like suntan. I'm sunbathing. I'm like, all right, dad, you do what you gotta do. Go over there.
Well,
He loves it though, and he actually regrets it. He's like, I lived by the Hudson my whole life, and now as an older man is when I'm interested in fishing. And I had the river literally down the street all these years.
mm,
I think it's a Zen thing. Just relaxing. You just kind of listen to the water. You're waiting for the fish to grab your bait. It's very boring for me.
yeah, I could see how it's boring to people, but you know what? I've always had a little interest in just trying it once to see if I would like it or not.
You may like it, especially if you're like talking about break room and analyzing life and having thinking time. I think fishing is probably the only sport that you can do utmost thinking.
I agree. And my colleague, he was telling me how he fishes all the time. He was like, "Yo, if you go to City Island for $65, they'll take you out for 5 hours. They'll give you bait. They'll give you your own rod. They'll take you wherever you want in the area, and they'll just show you how to fish, and they'll let you fish for 5 hours." So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go to City Island.
Send me the information. That
What?
sounds cool. I'd like to do that with my dad.
Yeah, I will do that for you. I'm gonna get it from him. But he told me like $65. It's nice, economical. They give you whatever you need, bait, rod, the whole 9 yards. They take you out, a group of 20 people. You hang out for 5 hours, play your music, have your sandwiches, and you just wait for something to catch something. And he was telling me they have a device they put on your hip in case you do catch something and you're scared to lose your rod. Like it'll stay docked to your abdomen. It's very comfortable. And he was telling
For
me like,
first time fishers.
yeah, for first time fishers. And he was like, you'll get turned on by fighting with a fish and reeling it back and catching something of worthy value and then gutting it.
Yes, but that's the thing, right? That's the fun part. But you know how long you have to wait to catch one?
I know. I know. I can imagine. I'm like, what do you do? I'm like, yo, bro, what do you do the whole time while you're waiting? He's like, we just hang out, drink. I need something more. I would need like hours of video or like a podcast to listen to.
Because for me, yes, the fish, when he catches a fish, super exciting. I see it. It's like dangling all over the place. But then you have more hours of just silence.
Just of idle time,
And I
silence.
guess it's cool bonding time, but it's just like you kind of run out of topics to talk about with your dad.
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
yeah, and at least, like you said, your dad fishes, so at least you have someone to talk to. For people who fish solo, what are you guys doing, Jeffrey Dahmer? What's going on?
yeah,
But
it's interesting.
yeah, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it this summer. I'm gonna take my daughters with me, and I'm gonna see if I like it or not. I love water. I like to view water. I like to have scenic water around me. I'm a guy that's heavy on beaches, not even to get in the water, just to sip on the sand and just hear.
I love the beach. I am the one that will swim to so far away, but
Okay, go ahead, go
I
ahead, go ahead.
have utmost respect for the ocean.
Me too.
Utmost respect.
Me,
Like
me
once
too.
I feel the tugging and my strokes are getting kind of too many, I'm going back.
I'm glad you say you love the beach because now I have a question for you that I had the unpopular opinion at work. So I'm gonna ask you: playa or piscina? Beach or pool?
Playa, beach.
Okay, I'm not crazy here.
So let me tell you why a lot of people like the pool. And it's because, and I see it with my kids, right? If I tell my kids, and I'm a beach person, I'll go to Rye Beach all summer long. I'll work from Rye Beach and live my best life at Rye because it's the closest beach to me that won't be with like the music and the hookahs and all the craziness. It's private, it's kid friendly, and that's where I go. So I tell them, hey, let's go to the beach. No, mom, you can go.
Why is that?
And then I'm like, really? And then I'll say, hey, let's go to the pool. We're probably going to the pool later today. Because the little one has been wanting to go to the pool. And they're like, yes, let's go. Mom, are you ready? But it's the sand. The sand.
The sand. Now, all right. Let me shoot them some bail. Let me play devil's advocate. It is annoying when you have a beach day. You got to pull your cooler and your stuff on the sand and find a spot. It's annoying as hell.
It's the sand, Mike. That's what it is.
And then like,
Because even myself, right? Like if I'm going to the beach and I want to take the tent, it's like, oh my God, and to clean it. Like, but I'm dealing with children that hate the sun, want to be on iPads. They can't deal with the glare. They don't want to be in the sand. So I'm like, oh my God, the tent. And then I'll sit here and I'll be like, you know what? Let's just have a picnic, and I can take the tent.
Let's go Central Park. Yes, do I enjoy coming home and half my floor has sand on it because I patted my trunks and then my shoes have sand in it? No, that's terrible. But there's something to be said about just sitting down at the beach and just watching the currents and just watching the sun overcast water, and it's just
The
beautiful.
smell
The
for me, it's the
smell,
smell, the
yes, the
salty
smell,
smell. It's just so
yeah.
comforting.
Now I will say though, shout out to my boy Steven. He's from LBI, Long Beach, in Long Island. Yo, in the past few years, I don't know if you noticed this, but the sharks have been coming up more and more in New York. They've been hanging out more on us. Usually we hear it in Florida, like, oh, there's shark attack in Florida. Oh, there's sharks in Florida. But lately they've been up top. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, keep in mind we're going into their home.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that. I'm big on habitat because lately you've seen orcas and killer whales smashing boats more and being a little more aggressive. And I'm like, can you blame them?
You know,
You're dumping oil into the water, and oil rigs are breaking in the water.
in
Can you blame them?
it sucks because I feel like as humans we're very destructive,
Absolutely.
right? Like on a selfish level, because it's not even that it's for the better humanity. You're doing this selfishly for more money,
Absolutely.
and it doesn't matter who you're harming in the process.
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate because you're right. At what point do these mammals decide, hey, let's start doing something about it? After years, probably millenniums
Right, right.
of trying to survive, like you're gonna come. Like there's so many animals that are extinct because of us, right? And our
Absolutely. Yeah.
greed. So I don't know, but utmost respect to the ocean, to sharks, to all animals. But is there a lingering thought in my brain when I'm in deep that something may grab you? Of course.
It's funny.
That's the thrill of it.
Of course, of course. I gotta be honest. I'm I'm not a sexist. I'm not a racist, but I'm a sharkist. I don't mess
Yeah.
with sharks. I don't like sharks. I feel like ever since Jaws, I've been like, you guys don't need to be around. You guys are way too scary. Y'all way too scary.
I
Sharp ass
know, but
teeth.
they're so beautiful.
yes, they're beautiful. Yes, they're
But you're right, they're
they're
predators. And
predators, man. Like I'm more fearful of a shark than like a killer whale. And killer's in the name, killer whale.
yeah, but then you have like a free willy, and it's like,
It's like,
oh,
oh,
okay.
look at that big 200,000 pound thing. Oh, he's so sweet. I'll hug him. Mind you, I don't remember ever saw a video of that lady in SeaWorld. I don't know if you ever saw the video of her,
Yeah, she was a trainer.
the trainer, and what happened to her happened to her. And that whale was like hovering over her and she was trying to get up. And it's almost like, well, I mean, can you blame them?
This is the thing, right? It's like you can't. These animals are not pets.
They're not pets. It's
And
wildlife.
it's like it's wasn't a man like in Harlem with like a lion recently too?
I remember like 2003 or 4, there was a dude, I don't know if it was in the Martin Luther King projects, I don't know where it was in Harlem, but a dude in his projects, in his room, had a full-grown tiger.
Exactly. Like, what
What are you
are you doing?
doing with a tiger in your apartment? Why do you have a
I'm over.
tiger?
I'm over here, Mike. I have poodles, and I'm like, why can't they just stay this tiny? Is there a shot that I could give them?
I'm sorry,
And
that's
they're talking
Charlie.
about tiger.
Say hi to Alba.
Hi, cutie pie.
Yeah, matter of fact, that photo, there's a photo of the tiger in the room. That might be the cover of this episode because it's like, what are you doing with a tiger in your room?
What are
And
you doing?
it's
Listen, even with the pit bulls, right? Like, even like you train these animals and you expect them not to react a certain way. Like, I know someone who had a dog eating, and it was like one of these big dogs, and his son went to grab the dog, and the dog like bit him because he thought he was grabbing his food. Like, you have to keep in mind, these are animals, they're instinctual, they're not going to rationalize 100% of the time.
absolutely not,
So
man.
imagine a tiger whose instinct is to survive and kill.
Yeah, and not just tigers. I've heard of alligator pets people have. I've heard of
And in
various
a house,
in a
Mike. You're gonna
house
have it in an apartment?
in captivity. Like, are you crazy? Listen, you just touched upon you just touched upon something that is controversial to some, but I'm with you on. I appreciate pit bulls. God bless you for being alive and being a species, but I don't be trusting y'all.
Listen, I owned a pit bull. Like, it was my brother's, and I would take care of her. And super sweet, super cute pit bull. But this is the thing, right? Like, we go back to humans being destructive. You don't teach animals to bite you. You don't teach animals to like be aggressive. Because at the end of the day, this will always take over.
Absolutely.
And then something bad happens, and then, oh my God, it's the dog. No, it's not the dog, it's the owner.
Right. Right. Exactly. And mind you, I see videos, cute, well, quote unquote, cute videos of like babies resting on pit bulls or sleeping next to them. I'm like, have y'all lost your motherfucking mind? Like, are you crazy? Like, I can't trust a pit bull to always be family or sweet.
But it's not just a pit bull, Mike. It's just an animal in
Animal,
general.
animal.
Like, I have poodles, right? And you've seen videos of my son. He's like grabbing them and jumping on the trampoline, and he's like,
Oh my God.
yeah. My 3-year-old is insane with the dogs. He loves animals. We went to my friend's house, and she has German shepherds,
Mhm.
and her German shepherd is this. He looks like a huge bear, and I am hesitant because I'm
Yeah,
like, this dog is like 5 times the size of my kid.
absolutely. I get it.
But they're gentle giants. And the same thing with pit bulls, right? Like, even Rottweilers. It's all about how you train them. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and trust you with my kid 24/7. Because there's also dogs that defend children. There's also dogs that like get protective and have been saved.
Right. And so to your point, I do agree with you. And I feel like I do wonder, what does it say about us where we're trying to domesticate so many various animals? What does it say about our ego? What does it say
What
about
does it say about men trying to domesticate women too? How about
you went
that?
there? You
Right? How
went
about
there.
that?
Okay. I'm glad you went there because man, you really just ripped the bandit and went there.
Yes, that's the root of all evil. That's where it comes
Yes,
down to control.
I do think control is something that mankind, and I say mankind,
Yeah, that's true.
but no, but I'm using the man in particular. Men have this thing when it comes to control. I do think, let me give you my idea about what you're tapping into right now. As a guy growing up in the locker room, what I call the quote unquote locker room. When I was like in junior high and high school, I would hear the way guys talk about women, talk about girls, and it was very archaic and it was very basic. And it would make me feel like, oh, first of all, I'm different from y'all. I don't really fuck with y'all like this, I guess. One, mind state wise. And more importantly, I realized that there is a idea that brawn, strength, brawn, me Jane, or me Joe, you Jane, the brawnness, it makes some men feel like my brawn is enough to be of a reason to lay the law down and to be a leader, an effective leader. And what I say should go because I can beat you up. Mind you, not just with men to women, you see it with bullies, men to smaller men or men, whatever. There's this thing about brawn nature. Like, I'm a big guy, I'm a big dude, I'm bigger than you. Oh no, I think you're on mute. I think you're on mute. I don't know why I can't hear you. Can you hear me? You can hear me. Why can't I hear you? Maybe your microphone? Let me say. There you go. I hear you. You good, you good.
So I think it stopped recording.
No.
You sure
No,
it's
no,
good on your side?
no. I'm done 54 seconds and 54 minutes and five
Okay.
seconds.
Can you still hear me? You're good?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I think it's not just it's survival of the fittest, right? Like Darwin's theory of survival. Men feel that they're stronger. Yes. I think it's why there's so many domestic violence cases that are coming to light now. Like the woman that was just found in her luggage. Like,
Yes.
I think women don't take it seriously when a man shows these aggressive characteristics and they kind of play it off like, oh, he's never going to do anything to me. No, it's okay. Not realizing the danger that we put ourselves in for being in denial.
Right.
But I think that hasn't changed much, Mike, the locker room talk. I
Mhm.
think men still kind of degrade women. And
Yeah.
now there's this like image of, I guess the women don't help the cause by meeting guys and then wanting to get stuff from guys. So then you build this rapport that men end up thinking that women only want something from men. But it's true. It's true, Mike. Like, I have friends that are on dating apps and are, oh, I'm just getting free lunch today. I don't really like him. Or,
Nice.
you know what I mean? But then you're ruining it for everyone else because now this man is going to be jaded.
Mm. Jaded. Yes. I've seen that. And we definitely live now in this current era of what I've seen on the outside looking in, because I'm a married man now. But when a lot of my friends who are single, what I'm seeing on the outside looking in is a lot of men today are jaded. They're jaded, they're a little whiny, a little sassy, and
Yeah.
they also still pick upon their forefathers of the bad sides of malehood, of the patriarchy slash sexism. Not all men. I'm not trying to castigate all
No,
men.
definitely not all men. There are
Not all
very
men.
few men that kind of break those barriers, right? But then you also have like these men that are like, I'm not cleaning. That's your job to clean. I'm not doing that. And it sucks, right? Because we're living in a society that one income is not gonna
New
maintain your
York.
household. It's not gonna happen. So it's like you're having these dynamics in which a woman is working, a woman is dealing with the kids, you have more of this flexibility to do something at home. But yet the woman comes home and it's like, dishes are dirty. You couldn't clean the dishes? All women do that. Like, yeah, like this archaic mindset. But then where is the archaic mindset when the woman is going to work and paying bills? Where is that mindset?
Yeah, like the machismo only works for your benefit,
Yes.
but what
Let
do
it
I get
work
out of
for
it?
mine.
What do I get out of it? I mean, we are living in a I think the start, and maybe it's a slow start, but the start of a culture revolution where women are, first of all, are more educated today, are in the work field, taking charge more than ever. It's not perfect. They should. Matter of fact, I still think the wages are not where it should be, equitable rise. But women are definitely a force in school and in employment. And you're seeing some men be left behind.
But the workforce, the way it is right now, it's easier for a female to get a job than it is for a man.
No kidding. No kidding. Why do you say that?
Just seeing in general in terms of like the hiring processes and even looking at the stats, more men are unemployed than women.
And I'm hearing this, I'm seeing this, and I'm reading about the studies to add to your point, and I'm wondering why are men leaving themselves behind? I don't want to say they're being left behind. I think they're leaving themselves behind. Why
But
is
it's like
that?
you're saying, right? It's like the education factor. It's also like a lot of men are now stay-at-home dads. It's a lot. We're witnessing generational change that wasn't witnessed before. Before it was the mom would always stay home. Now we're encountering that there are more men staying at home with their children than women.
Do you I ask every once in a while I ask this question to people I know, especially women. I always ask, do you find it weird when men are staying home or do you respect it? Or is it a mixed bag?
I respect it, but I think there's different circumstances, right? Like everyone's circumstance is different. Some people are from what I've seen. Some people are experiencing that the man was laid off, woman is still employed. So if they have a baby, it's cheaper, unfortunately, for the dad to take care of the child than it is to have a childcare. Childcare is so expensive right now.
Crazy expensive.
So it's like you're paying someone else's salary. Hey, might as well stay home and I pay you. We can use this money on the bills instead of childcare.
For real.
And I think it's just a reality of life. I don't think women nor men want to be home just stagnant taking care of a child, but sometimes financially it just makes more sense.
I agree. And I want to say that, a lot of times people have downplayed for years the idea of housework. It's so much work. And not only is it so much work, you also don't have the benefit of going outside to clock in and socialize with people at a work site. You're in your thoughts by yourself all day, cleaning alone.
It takes a mental toll on people. I think, like, based on people that I know that are stay at home moms, right? Um, I think you kind of end up blaming yourself more when something goes wrong with your kid. I feel that you kind of miss out on just interacting with someone outside of your home. And I think that's important. And I think as parents and even as moms, a lot of women tend to forget that you're still a person outside of being a mom. And people may judge me, but I'm not waking up at 5 in the morning to cook for my kid. Like there are pancakes, there are Eggos in the fridge, there are sandwiches, there are cold cuts, there's stuff in the fridge. You're hungry? Go make some sandwiches, go eat some cereal. But there are moms that wake up before they're supposed to wake up to make mangoul and salami and make these lavish breakfasts. I'm not doing that. I'm so sorry. Like, I grew up on cereal and I'm perfectly fine. It's not gonna kill you. When I wake up, I'll make something else. But it kind of sucks, right? Like these standards and this pressure of being a parent. And I tell you, I have 4 kids and I make time to ride a bike. I make time to go to the beach by myself. I make time to pull out my Kindle and sit by the river and just read. Because I think as women, we kind of just, our life becomes them.
Tragedy, which yes, it's a tragedy that a lot of us, our society, especially men, impose this idea of that. All right, honey, your life now is taking care of me and the kids.
Yes, it's over.
That's your ambition for now on for the next 40 years. So have at it. Good luck out there.
Yeah.
So you do see men, when their woman like gets a hobby, sure, gets a new job, a new career, goes back to school. You see a lot of men have to grapple with their own egos and arrogance in the middle of it and be like, fuck, like, what's to say about me and how do I feel in this? Where do I fit in this? And it's like, dude, before you came around, she was an individual.
Yeah. Like, thankfully, I can't complain because I feel like Al has always supported like my school endeavors, right? Like, I was able to complete my bachelor's and he would stay with the kids. I was able to do my master's and he would stay with the kids. I definitely give a lot of credit to moms that are single because Mike, it takes a village. And if
Yo,
you're on your own, the struggle is real. Like, no one can sit there and tell me no. Mike, I'll being in my corner, his mom being in my corner, BB, like just my family. just to be able to say, hey, here's the baby, I'll be right back, and just take that mental break, or even like go to school and just do something different, even to hang out with my girlfriends. It makes all the difference. And it sucks because not everyone has that. And the older I get and the more I encounter other moms, I realize that what I've had is so rare.
Out to Al, first and foremost, for the support. Because like you said, it's essential for a woman to feel supported and be supported while she's going through her own journey. So
But it's so rare, Mike. Like, just I had someone tell me, how do you have time to work out? I'm like, what? But it's crazy, right? Because for me, it's so natural and it's such a like a given in my life that I've never stopped to think about, like, wait, other people's lives may not be like mine.
now,
It brings clarity and kind of awareness of how much other people may struggle being a parent.
absolutely. I mean, I have my wife; she's supporting me. I'm in grad school right now, finishing up my stuff, and
Ooh, exciting.
I know, right? First of all, yo, school's such a scam. But we'll talk about that
Yes, it
later.
is.
That's just such a
Especially
scam.
nowadays, dude. Nowadays,
Yo, it's a scam like you won't
listen.
believe. And mind you,
Nowadays, listen, Mike, I said it. I wish I would have been born this era because I would have been a like neurosurgeon.
yo, yo, it's crazy.
Google, AI. Where was
Yeah,
this when we were growing
yeah,
up?
yeah. You know, it's funny you say that. I have an 18-year-old. Well, she'll be 19 this summer, and I watched her enter high school through COVID. So she was complaining about being home for the pandemic and doing like virtual classes and virtual work. I'm like, what? If I had to do work at home for a year and a half,
My
what do you,
chemistry. Do you remember chemistry?
I remember a chemistry class. I remember. I
I
mean,
hated chem and the stupid periodic table and having to memorize it.
I remember us in chemistry. Yo, mind you, I don't know how I got out of high school because I barely passed chemistry. But listen, and mind you, back then we had what Encarta, Microsoft Encarta, or encyclopedias. We didn't have the thing on our hips or on our phones to
Can you
like.
imagine? We would have had Google.
Yeah, can you imagine? I'd be like, "What's the answer?" Hold on, I got you.
All I need is Google. I didn't
Yeah.
even need AI. I like needed in my life was Google.
To cheat back then, I had to have my calculator out and just flip it upside down. Give me the answer real quick.
Mike, let me tell you, I was taking, what regents did I take? I think it was the global history regents. And you know that I helped someone cheat during the global history regents. So I'm sitting all the way in the front, doing my own, all of my thing. This girl stops next to me and she hands me a paper, like literally on the corner of my desk. And I'm like, oh my God, I grabbed this paper. The teacher sees me. I'm like hyperventilating. The teacher sees me and I'm a fail my stupid regents for trying to grab the stupid paper. Whatever. Curiosity got the best of me. I grabbed this paper and she literally had 1 to 50
God,
numbered. And I was like, fuck it, dude.
fuck it. Every adrenaline rush, fuck it.
I was like, whatever. I was like, here. And I just left the paper and I'm like, oh my God. And like, it sucks. I guess that's the downside of the fact that everyone was smart and I had all these awards. I even helped one of my friends on a different school graduate high school by finishing his English paper. Yeah, he had to do it on like Romeo and Juliet. And he had like this term paper and it was like, please just do it for me. I should have just made money back then, Mike, and just hustled
That's what
everybody.
I got the papers right here. Yo,
Just give me the
just
money.
give me the money. I got you. Yo, listen, I think school is a scam or the way it's manifested now. Like we don't teach civics in schools no more. We don't teach how to do taxes. We don't teach all the stuff we should know. We just teach A equals MC square and X minus 2 is 5. It's like,
No, but
what?
math is different now, Mike. Now math, it's not like before that like you remember multiplication that you put the number in the top, then in the bottom, and then you're like cross multiply the numbers.
Right.
No, now it's like by association and grouping. Math is just very different.
Yeah, and I have my 9-year-old, well, she'll be 9 this summer, and she's in 3rd grade. So when I'm doing homework with her, I'm like, huh? I'm like, how y'all like she taught me fractions the other day again. I'm like, how you doing fractions? And she did it differently. I'm like, oh, they teach something else now. Okay, I get it. But and mind you, she loves school. She loves school. She's in a gifted and talented program.
Nice.
And like she gets to it. Some people have it. Some people just have it in them from Jump Street.
agree. I agree with that. Because my 19-year-old is not the best. Like, I feel like he, out of all, but he was also a preemie, right? So it's like, he's the one that struggled the most with school. And then my 14 and 9-year-old are very bright and very like, I think my 14-year-old gives 10% and gets 90s.
What?
Yes. And I'm like, what if you did more?
Some people have that though. Some people have that. They just give minimal
Yeah, you're
effort.
right. I think it's just an innate. Like, I love school. Like, I'm over here, like, I should just look at different certifications and just go back. Like, some people just like school and other people don't. And I think it's just accepting everyone at that level. And you as a teacher should know, right? Like, see, you experience that all the time. Like, there's some people that have it, some people that you just have to meet them at their level.
Absolutely. For me personally, as a student, as a scholar, I don't like school or the rigorous, you know, parts of school as far as being a student. But I will say this: whenever a semester breaks, I get like weird, like, damn, I feel empty. There's nothing due, and
It's
nothing
the routine. You
routine.
miss the
Like,
routine.
man, I kind of miss having something to do for the weekend or something to work on. So that I understand, and I miss the connection sometimes with other students and collaborating. So that I miss at times. But um, it's funny. You were talking about one education, men and women, and where we at today, as far as, in my opinion, men and how we need to catch up to women, not just professionally, but I also think with emotional intelligence. And I want to say, before we continue this conversation, I do want to say that I do feel like there have been improvements made a little bit from previous generations. The
Yes.
guys I know today, they're a little more vulnerable, a little more open to talk, a little more aware, but not at the speed I would like, you know? And I'm sure you would probably either agree or have more context of how you want men to be more aware of a woman's needs and concerns. But I want to ask you, where do you think we're going societally when it comes to men and women connections and men and women understanding? Are we getting better or worse?
I definitely think we're getting better. I think that unfortunately, because of stigmas or even like just life, there's no way of breaking away from the judgment women will experience. And that's what it is, right? It's judgment. It's a man thinking a girl behaving a certain way is hoish. Or don't judge. I think my whole thing is like live and let live, right? Like you're living your life, no one's calling you names. Let me live mine. But unfortunately, that's not where we're at, right? Like Al listens to this podcast. I think it's Fresh and Fit.
Boy,
My God, Mike, I kid you not. When that podcast is on, I go the opposite
uh,
direction because I'm like, really?
shout out to you, Al. Shout out to you. All but love, all but love. But go ahead.
Mike, he pushed me, right? Like, Alba, listen to this, blah, blah, blah. And I already knew there was like an like lying reason for it. And I'm like,
Man, fresh and fit. Man,
Mike, I sat there. I think I saw 2 of his episodes.
I
And
can imagine.
I'm like, what? I was like, why are they getting these women up there that can't even like defend themselves, Mike?
Right.
He's like pretty much ripping them a new and like they're
I
there
know.
like just taking it. And I'm like,
I don't even know if they are. I mean, there of course there are women. There are women that are there, but I don't even know. You can tell.
er,
Not just, well, there are women. There are women that are there, no doubt. But I also wonder: are they women that are selectively chosen to be there to fit a certain narrative? Because
maybe because of Mike, this podcast, I'm just like, this isn't even like an intellectual conversation. This is like a bashing of the female gender.
it's a lot of berating at times.
And
I mean, I mean,
I
first of all, to be clear, I want to say this to be clear. I've never sat through one episode. I never sat through one episode fully. I've seen clips here and there, and all the clips I hear, I never like them. I rarely do.
And like kudos to everyone in their opinion, right? It's what it is. But come on, judgment goes both ways. You can't sit there and like give judgment and not be judged. Like, and my thing is, well, why can I've never heard someone say this man is a hoe.
Right, and there are some male hoes out there. Of course they are. Of course there are. Of course, there are male hoes out there. There's male hoes.
Yes, but a man will never get referred to that way. A man will not be degraded that way. But then when a woman does it, it's like, oh my God, the end of the world. No, no. And you know, Mike, I'm not about like infidelity or any of that. But at the end of the day, we're animals. We are people. We are only human. We are not monks. And even the monks have their slips. I don't care what anybody says.
Sure, they do. They be in the temple like she got a fat ass.
So I just feel like, come on, why is it so hard to just accept people for who they are, right? Like, we see all this transgender stuff. We see all these, like, bisexual and the lesbians and the gays and all this, there's new, like, we're accepting these new changes, right?
Of course.
And those I feel like are more drastic to accept than you just accepting a woman for being who she wants to be. Or even dressing as she wants to be, right? Like, why can you accept that, but you can't accept an individual?
Some of this, I imagine, comes from many moons ago, where and you being Honduran and Venezuelan, shout out to those two countries. You know, as a Latina, and I know as a Caribbean first generation person. Shout out to all my Haitians. A lot of this comes from religion, comes from the patriarchy that flows to religion. I grew up.
Yes. But Mike, let's be honest. Our generation and the generations that follow ours are not religious
We're the
like what
least.
we grew up.
We're the least. Yes, we're the least
You,
watered down
we're
religious. That's
water.
not all.
Yes.
That's not all. I get it. No, you're right. But I do
So
think.
you can't sit there and be like, religion is the excuse when we're like the most watered down.
Well, yo, Al, it's funny you say that because I never thought, since growing up, my mom and dad, my dad especially, he's very political, or he's just aware of politics. So growing up next to him, I'd watch CNN with him when I was like, 10 years old, 9 years old. So I always had a political mind or paid attention to stuff of the day. I
Hmm.
never thought growing up we would ever have abortion ban. I never thought there'd be states in this country that would ban abortion. I'm like, no way. Yeah, it's a debate. People talk about it, but women are allowed to have their own autonomy of their body. It's their body, right? It's their choice. I always thought that, not now, mind you, you could believe however you want about abortion. I just thought as a policy, I always thought, no, we're past that. That was in the 70s. We're moved on from that. So when things happened in the last few years, I'm like, yo, we're still arguing about this, and we're still actually reversing policy, and women and are back to the drawing board in certain states where now you got to fly to another state to get an abortion, and then now that doctor is getting sued in that state over it, and it's like, yo, women,
Yeah, we're living in crazy times.
we're living in times where it seems like to me, it's just me talking, it seems like the angst man, or dare I say, for some dudes, incels, they want their final fight, their final push to get their point across about how they feel about women.
Yeah, I
And
can see that.
listen, I try not to judge anyone's personal opinion about where they stand, whether it's faith based or not. And I try to give grace to everybody. But I do feel like, if you're an American and you're proud to be an American, you should be proud to share the ideals that everyone should have their own freedom of speech and freedom to live and to be who they want to be.
Yeah, but even freedom of speech is like an ideology, right?
Yeah, sure, sure.
You say it doesn't mean it's happening.
Doesn't mean it's happening. And you could be an American outside and come home to straight socialism, communism times 20, or it's a dictatorship and you're told get in the kitchen and don't come out till I say so. I want sex now, and feel that vibe with maybe not Fresh and Fit because I don't watch them like that. Like I've seen clips and from that I was like, no, thank you. This sounds crazy.
Yeah, no, I
But in
can't watch it either.
but in conversation with some guys, and dare I say some guy friends, I've been thinking like, oh, you're still a caveman. You're still old school. You're still a cave.
Let me tell you why I was brought into this fresh and fit conversation.
Okay.
Because one of the topics was, can a guy be your friend?
Man, this is an ongoing topic from the
right? So I walked in and I'm like, you turn. I need to go the
let
other
me get back.
direction.
Can a guy be your friend? This is something that's been going on for ages. But go ahead. What happened?
So in the podcast, he's pretty much telling the girls to call the best friend and be like, hey, like we've been friends forever. Why hasn't anything ever happened between us? Like I want to be with you. Blah, blah. So his idea is if you're pretty, you have there's no guy friends. That the guys are just kind of laying in wait for something to go down, for them to kind of come in and catch you in a moment of weakness.
Here's
Like
what I
I can see it. Like I can see it both ways though, right? Like I can see a girl like so if a guy can be your friend, then a girl cannot be your friend.
right. That there's that. One, there's
Right?
that. One, there's that. There's that. So, so do you subscribe to that? Because if so, there's an hypocrisy. You know, there's that. Listen, let me give you to the guy world. Let me try to be. Let me try not play devil's advocate because I ultimately am with you on this. Here's what I'll say, and it goes back to the locker room. There are a lot of dudes I know who just don't view women as potential friends because they're always on the hunt. And they're guided not by their brains or by their social emotional skills in their heart, but by, their balls or their penis. That's what guides them. That's what leads them. That's what gives them the right to make decisions or
Yeah.
gives them their and it's unfortunate because I do feel like when a lot of men lead with their penis, they fuck up their life ultimately. You know,
That's true. I have people that I can attest to seeing that.
I've seen OGs in my family or older heads and other families where like they're like 80 years old alone. And I'm like, bro, what happened to you? What went wrong? And oh, I had a girl back in the day I could have married, I could have loved, but I fucked around on her and I lost her out. And now for the last 50 years, I've been solo. Or they always have a story where their penis led them to the wrong life.
Yeah.
If they had self control, if they did the emotional work, if they went to therapy, if they got over certain demons, they would live the quote unquote normal life. So a lot of men are still and I'm a hunter gatherer. I'm a hunter and men are only hunters. That's it. We can't view women as potential friends or whatnot. Platonic.
Okay.
Platonic. But those men need to be healed, in my opinion. They need to be healed. They need to go to therapy, realize that that hunter gatherer thing that mind you, mothers also sometimes put on their sons. Like I've seen Latin mothers question their sons for not having two girlfriends, for not having a side chick.
Wow.
I've seen it verbalized. I've seen women, not just men, I've seen women institute the idea or push the idea of patriarchy. So it's a whole shebang. It's all of us, not me and you, obviously, but all of us are in this web of like pushing the idea of men need to be out there. Men need to be.
Do you think it has to do like being from broken homes versus having a dual parent home? Do you think that
That's
makes a difference?
absolute. That makes a huge difference. We'll get into that because that makes a huge difference. Being in a single parent or a broken home versus two parent home. Not to say two parent homes are perfect.
They're definitely not, but you end up growing up with both ideals, right? Like I feel that between my mom and my dad, because I was with my mom more, I grew up more with my mom's personality, my mom's teachings rather than my dad's.
And to add to that, I do feel like first of all, any gender can teach anything to a child, but I do think that sometimes a woman's best, not only, but best of many attributes is the idea to teach nurturing and caring and emotional intelligence. And I think one, not all, but one of the better attributes a man can teach is duty, ethics, having a code of honor, and responsibility. And whenever I've seen someone from a broken home and they have issues, because not all people have issues, but when they do have issues, I usually wonder, well, which parent was on the house? And once I figure it out, I'm like, oh, okay, I see
That's
how,
why you
yeah,
can see it.
I can see certain things going certain ways, depending on who you did or didn't have. Back to this idea of me trying to play devil's advocate, but this whole idea of male and platonic friends. Here's what I'll say. A lot of times, the men I've seen who argued against having platonic friendships with other women, I feel like they are projecting an idea of men are strictly dogs or assholes. And they're not advocating for themselves as men how we're better than that, how we can be multifaceted, how we can be regular people if we just give ourselves a chance to be that. But we feed into as men, not all of us, but we feed into the idea of, yeah, man, fuck bitches, that's it. Like whatever, like, just go out there and smash and
It's like
pass.
women are meat. Like
Me.
it's like a woman has no type of autonomy or like can think for herself or say, okay, you may want to be with me, but it doesn't mean I want to be with you. Right? Like, and that's the reality of it. Like, I have a whole bunch of guy friends. I encounter people all the time, and there are guys that do tell me things, but I'm like, I only want to be your friend. Like, you either take it or leave it. It's just what it is. So, like, it sucks, and it doesn't like hinder our friendship. I just know, okay, there are boundaries that can't be crossed. There are certain games I can't play or certain things I can't say because then this person may think I'm opening the door, right? But as a woman, I feel like you're able to navigate this. The way that some of these men make it sound when they say like women can't have guy friends, it's like women are so gullible and fragile and can't think for
Right,
themselves. And
right,
that's what bothers me.
right, right. Like you're always gonna be a damsel in distress waiting to be saved.
Yes, like what? No. I can be sad. That doesn't mean I'm gonna let this guy come hug me and kiss me. Like what? No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you can't think for yourself about what you want out of life.
I think that's my issue with how they portray this, right? Like a guy can have girlfriends because a guy is strong enough to say, I'm not interested. Oh, but a girl can't?
Right. Yeah. I'm with you. I hear you. And I'm glad you elocuted it that way because that's probably the best way thus far I've heard it be articulated. To add an addendum to that, I think the best I can even try to like see it from someone else's point of view is I think it's hard to be friends with somebody, not impossible, if you have an attraction towards them. And I think that is gender neutral. I think that's probably true amongst gay folks, probably. I think if you have a friend of yours that you find attractive, and mind you, when I say attractive, I don't mean superficial stuff. I don't. When I say attraction, I mean when I say I'm a when I say I
Like
was
a
a, it's
connection.
a connection. It's an aura, like you said earlier. It's something. It's je ne sais quoi. It's like it's inexplicable. I've been around beautiful people all my life, but doesn't mean I was actually attracted.
Yeah.
J Lo can walk in right now. I'd be like, oh, that's J Lo. Shout out to her. But that doesn't mean I'm like, oh my God, J Lo. I gotta get her number. It's like,
Yeah, I don't feel like that either. And I've met like a lot of celebrities and like even baseball players because my uncle used to work in the Yankees and I've just been
uh,
around.
as a Mets fan, as
Hater,
a Mets fan,
hater. Anyways, like
Soto.
I saw Neo in like a sneaker store, took a picture with him, but I've never been like this fan struck person, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've heard like commentary from men. They'll be like with Romeo. Oh my God, the singer, the bachata singer.
Watermelon.
Yeah, Romeo. That they'll be
Of
like,
course.
if he grabs you, you'll probably just give it up to him. Like, what?
Why? Why is that? Why?
Comments. And I'm like, I'll be in conversations like, just because he's a celebrity and he has money doesn't mean everyone's panties drop. There
Right.
might be the groupies, and there are groupies, but it doesn't mean every single person is gonna do that.
Yeah. I mean, I try to separate.
Like you see Rihanna, is Rihanna gonna be?
Don't get it twisted now. If Rihanna came around
Oh
my
yeah,
way.
Rihanna. Rihanna's it for you.
Listen, I was hating on ASAP Rocky. I was like, really, Rocky, you asshole.
Rihanna's it for you, huh? Okay.
Listen. But you know what? I'm glad you mentioned Rihanna. For the last, what, 15, 20 years, Rihanna and Beyonce have been two of major stars out there we have. I see Beyonce. Obviously, she's a beautiful woman. Obviously, she's a beautiful.
Beyonce doesn't live for me.
Same here. Same
Rihanna
here.
though, Rihanna
Rihanna
has like a
has
swag. That's what it is. It's like
swag,
a personality. I
a
don't know. It's something about
personality,
her.
and something about her attracts me to her style. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I gravitate towards her musically and otherwise more.
Hmm.
Rocky, you asshole. But yeah, attraction to me is what matters the most. And just because I have a woman friend or you have a guy friend doesn't mean I'm automatically feel like there's an opening. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
not.
I don't think a lot of men understand that, right? That it's about attraction. It's about feeling chemistry with someone. And I think that's where the misconception is. that yeah, you can have attractive friends, but it doesn't mean they're attractive to you. Like I have friends and I was like, oh, they're cute, but it's not for me.
Right. And I will say this though, to piggyback off this conversation, anybody that I thought I had an attraction for or attraction attracted to,
You stop being friends with?
yeah, I did. That's where I can challenge myself, challenge myself and say maybe I should either grow up or find a way to persevere through that.
No, but it's a smart play, right?
Yeah. Like I can't be friends with you. I must do too much. I like you too much. You know what I'm saying?
No, but like it's a smart play because I feel like then you're eliminating the temptation or the opportunity for there to be a temptation. Like you're able to acknowledge there's an attraction there and you rather eliminate it than have it hinder your relationship.
Or have it linger. Yeah, that's how I feel. So I get that, but I don't hear that from guys. I just hear straight up robotic. The women are my robots, and my lady can't have a guy can't have guy crush because I don't trust that she can. You know,
That's what it is, right? That she can handle it because she's so weak because she's this damsel and who's gonna get manipulated by the guy who's so the big bad wolf.
big belt.
Come on, really?
Even like try to shoot bail for a guy is I do know that because men know this. Men know that the vast majority of guys out there are nasty, are cunning, and low key hunting. So they probably don't trust the guys because I don't really trust. I don't trust a lot of guys in my as far as in my life because I feel like I can't trust that they will put their brain over their penis.
Yeah, but then you trust your woman, right?
Well, ultimately, that's what it is. Ultimately, that's what it is.
Right? Like, come on. Oh no, she's so gullible. She's so innocent.
Ultimately, that's
Cause
what it is.
because she's 9 years old and they're gonna kidnap her.
And that's what it is ultimately. You have to say, it's like a father or a parent who I've heard this before, like, you know what? I'm gonna teach you how to drive. You're gonna go out there and drive. I'll trust the road. I mean, I'll trust you, not the road. So I'm gonna give you the tools and let you know that how I mess with you, I rock with you, I trust you, but I'll trust the road. But it is what it is. You still gotta. I'm not gonna prohibit you from driving. You know what I'm saying?
But it's true.
Go out there and be your best. You know what I'm
But
saying?
even like us as drivers, right? We're older, we're experienced drivers. I don't trust myself driving. I'm like scared that a biker is gonna come, who knows where, zoom by me as one of these delivery people. So even when I'm turning, I'm like looking all over before I actually turn. So I feel like, yeah, you trust the person. You don't need to trust the environment.
It's at 20.
And honestly, Mike, and if you don't trust that person, then you shouldn't be with that person.
It's funny you say that. I said before, and I'll say it again. An OG of mine, an OG Italian dude I used to work with, he told me in a successful relationship, there's four pillars to a house: attraction, communication, respect, and trust. So think of it as four pillars to a home with
Mhm.
a roof. And he was like, whenever a relationship fails, one pillar, at least one pillar, was taken out and the house crumbled. So if you stop being attracted to them, you didn't see them the same way. Whatever was there for you once, they don't give it to you no more. They don't give you the same flair.
Yeah.
If y'all stop communicating and talking, or you lost translation, you heard one thing, she said something else, or vice versa, that'll cause problems. If you don't respect them anymore, their core, their ethics, who they are, that's gonna bug you. And lastly, to your point, if you don't trust somebody no more, that's the ultimate house. That's the ultimate implosion. The house is being crumbled.
No, and Mike, and I see it all the time, and like I'll get on social media and I see it, and it's like people, oh, this person cheated on me, and this person that, and like I've had friends that like want to put trackers in their men's like cars, and the guy kind of goes, their guys that go ballistic and start tracking girls and start. Why are you wasting all
That's so
this
crazy. You're driving
energy?
yourself
Like,
crazy.
no, you're driving yourself crazy. Stress is a real thing. Stress is the underlying cause of a lot of medical conditions and cancer.
Absolutely.
Why are you doing this to yourself? If you have to invest this much energy in making sure someone doesn't cheat on you, you don't need to be with this
You're not
person.
living your best life for that reason. You're living yourself and enjoying your best life because you are driving yourself crazy.
Yeah, but it sucks, right? And you know what it comes down to being selfish because then men and women probably end up thinking that the person they're with is their property.
It's their property. It's their
So they don't want
property.
to let go. They don't want to start over. They don't want to. And at some point, it's like, come on, like love yourself enough to know this person is not going to make you happy, that you're not living a happy life and walk away from it.
It's selfishness, and it's also from a pride standpoint. It's hard to admit that you took a loss. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And what I mean by
Okay,
that,
I can see that. I can see
what I
that.
mean by that is, I mean like on a macro level. So like, let's say you were with somebody for X amount of years, and either you knew the signs were there or you didn't, but it just fails. Some people don't want to give up on their relationship because they feel like, damn, I'm going to admit that I lost. Either I lost
X amount of time.
time with them, or this wasn't a successful venture after all.
Yeah, but how about this? Why not spin that, right? Why not spin it and say, okay, 5 years of my life, this person helped me grow. This person helped me see what I don't want for the rest of my life, right? Like if they will, it would never be spun that way. It'll be the negative all the way around.
Right, right. And I wrestled with this a little bit because I have this back and talk with a friend of mine all the time where we kind of wrestle with the idea if something like that happens, X amount of years, you go through a journey with somebody and it ended, and dare I say, ended horribly. Was it a waste of time? I ultimately know in my head it wasn't a waste of time because you learned, something through that adventure. But I'll be like, I'm petty. So I'm also like, damn man, you couldn't tell me 3 years ago you were a psycho? You couldn't tell me.
Mike, you do know that only comes to light, right? After the years, you end up having a Joe in your life, and you're like, holy shit.
And I would imagine to your point, or what you're getting at is men need to realize that to be with somebody, it's a risk. And if you're with me, it's a risk to know that you're in my journey as well. And if I
But
don't,
it's also meeting someone halfway, right?
yeah,
And like it's like you have to be able to understand that people grow individually and then you have to learn how to grow together. And some people don't know how to grow together because either the man is stuck in you need to be like I am or she's like you need to be like I am. So then it's hard, right? Having two different people kind of become one.
two more things. We're almost done. Don't worry, we're almost done.
I'm in a meeting.
I got mine too. Don't worry. Real quick before we check out, real quick. Well, to put a button on it, I'm with you 1,000%. I do think there is a concern about the fresh and fit era. I'm not judging people outright. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. But I will say, I do feel like our men, our fellow men, self included, we do need to do a better job as far as healing and progressing emotionally. Because I am a little concerned about where we are as far as the culture of like, I don't want to use the word incel because that's a very castigating, strong word. But just the idea of like, I want to make sure we're progressing and not going backwards as far as, being archaic.
Okay. She
But
can see that. Lower that.
real quick, two more things I want to get to. Because one thing in particular, my wife's asking me, she's like, yo, ask her about the reunion. Ask about high school. Because my wife is a Manhattan Center alum. You are a Manhattan Center alum. My homegirl, before I met my wife, shout out to Camilla, she's class of '02. She's a Manhattan Center alum. My homegirl Natasha, shout out to you, Manhattan Center alum. Jessica, shout out to you.
Damn, Mike.
Manhattan Center, yo,
I left Rockland
yeah,
and you just
yo,
came across everyone.
yo, everybody is a Manhattan Center alumni around me. It's crazy. I think Cam and Mace were there too, back in the day. So y'all all are crazy people. I gotta ask, are you going to your reunion this year?
I am.
Are you
I am excited, but it's like different for me, right? Because I feel like everyone I went to high school with, I also went to junior high school with, and I'm still friends with them. So we all know each other for more than 20 years. So it's kind of us just getting together at a party opposed to someone's house.
okay? So you're not expecting much.
I'm not. And I guess interacting with a lot of people that I didn't interact with, you have to keep in mind that when I graduated from Manhattan Center, I had just had my baby. So I had Alex literally in May, and graduation was June.
I forgot you had him in high school. I forgot that.
Yeah, I had him in high school. So I was dealing with a lot during that time. Like I was
Yeah.
part of the National Honor Society. I was part of the Aspira group. I had just had a baby, 26 weeks, and he was pretty much in an incubator.
Wow.
So like I
Wow.
would be in class, in between classes, call the hospital, make sure he was good. He was in there
Wow.
for 3 months. So while everyone's going to prom, I'm pretty much in New York Presbyterian NICU ward dealing with a
Damn.
premature baby.
I'm
right?
sorry.
So
I didn't realize you went through that. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. So what Al ended up doing was we dressed up, went on a photo shoot. He took me to a carnival, and we kind of had like our own thing, opposed to like because he was like, Alba, we're not in that mindset to go to a party and have fun and bug out. Like we were dealing with a premature baby that
Right,
we
right.
didn't know was gonna survive or not. And then I literally took like a week off school, and then I went back to school without like nothing had happened. So I walked, I walked graduation. I did all this stuff, and it's like no one knew I even had a baby.
Wow. If you can, take me back to that time 20 years ago. What was your mindset, what were you going through emotionally, mentally as a young mom in class while your son's in NICU and what's going on in your mind?
This is when you become an expert compartmentalizing and kind of just innately. I've always been a student. I've always been this nerdy person, right? So for me, if you're sitting there and telling me, "Hey, let's go to a party," versus "Let's go hiking," "Let's go do," I'm gonna 9 out of 10 times I'm going to go hiking because being a party animal is not my thing. Like, yeah, I can vibe, I can hang out with people, but if you're giving me an option to go to an amusement park and go to a party, I'm gonna go to an amusement park every single
I
time.
hear you. Me too.
So it was hard. I was dealing with a lot then. My dad stopped talking to me. My mom had kicked me out of the house. So I ended up moving in with Al. And then when I went ahead and started having preterm contractions, I didn't know what was happening. So I'm calling my mom. My mom's like on a flight with my baby brother, heading to Florida for Disney. And she's like, I can't even be there for you. My ended up going to the hospital. My brother was there. My grandma was there. And my uncle ended up showing up later on, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to preterm labor," and the whole time I'm like, "I have a regents to study for. Like, what do you
Oh my
mean?"
God.
So they like have me literally like this. Like my head was down. They were trying to keep the baby in as long as possible. You're talking about 26 weeks. His lungs are not fully developed. He's not fully developed. I got a shot for his lungs, and the whole time I'm like, no, the baby cannot come right now. The baby cannot come right now.
Wow.
And he was due August 28th, a week after my birthday. He was born May 22nd, a day after Al's birthday.
Yo, look at God.
Yes. But honestly, my mind wasn't there. And I feel like you kind of get into this mindset of, he's gonna survive. I need to do what I need to do. I still need to finish school. I took all my regents. I got pretty much above 85s on all my regents. I was focused on graduating because
Wow.
then that's another stigma, right? Oh my God, she had a baby, now she's not gonna graduate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This It's over for her life. Like when I found out I was pregnant, one of my uncles cried, Mike. And
Wow.
he's like, "Oh, you just ruined your life.
My
Like, there goes
God.
basketball, there goes college." Literally, like, balled out on the phone. And I'm like, "Really? This is your take for me having a kid?"
It's your support.
So, yeah. So while other people's families are super supportive and super excited when a woman has a child, my family was the contrary. Like, my dad stopped talking to me. My mom kicked me out and then started talking to me maybe like 3, 4 months later. And then I gave birth 2 months after that. So I was dealing with a lot of emotional distress, a lot of change. And then my son is born this way. And then I'm also graduating. So my mindset wasn't where everyone else's was. And even then, like, I tried, right? Like, I'd be part of the yearbook pictures. I was part of the yearbook group,
Wow, you're
but
so active. Wow.
I was still active, like, because life goes on, right? I can't just hit the pause button and say, wait, let's pause this till I feel okay to be part of life again. So I was still like in the yearbook, like you see me all over the place because I was still participating in the events. No, I didn't have a
That's
book.
right, because it's 26 weeks, right. Yo, that's crazy.
So it's like no one knew I was pregnant. No one knew I even had a baby because then I'm graduating and I'm like, Look the
Yeah, he's so
same.
slim. Wow. With the baby face and all. Oh my God.
Yeah, and like even now, Mike, like when I tell people I have 4 kids, they're like, "You have what?"
Yeah, mind you, just for the record, guys, y'all weren't there 20 years ago when I was with her. She still looks the same. She still looks the same baby face, same physics, same stature, still the same. So, first of all, shout out to you because you definitely had the better 20 years than me because I
So
filled
it's
out.
funny.
I filled
No,
out.
so let me tell you. So my friend who also went to MCSM and he's going to a reunion, he's like, Alba, aren't you scared? Because people are not gonna look like you're looking right now. And I'm like, I think we'll be fine. I don't think people have changed that much. They might be bald a little bit, some hair loss, which is normal. And he's like, no, Alba, like just be ready. Cause not everyone ages as well.
I can imagine. I mean, my wife is cool with the dude who's running at Dixon. She's cool with him. I think she's cool with this girl named Angie or Angela. I think she's from Harlem. I don't know her last name, but she's cool with some people from that class.
Is
So
she coming to the
I don't know because she had hers last summer. She went with her homeboy Kelly. You know Kelly.
Mhm.
She went with him last year. Or they all went together. That whole crew. But I don't know. I don't know if she's going. I think she was invited, but I don't know if she's going. But she's like, yo, ask Al if she's going. So I'm asking you now.
No, yeah, I'm going. But it's like I said, right? Like all my friends, we're childhood friends.
Yeah.
Like
So it's like
I have Angel, Modesto, Manuel, Joanna, um, Cynthia. There's like a whole bunch of them. Like we all follow each other on Instagram
So
too.
it's
So
like
it's
nothing's
like,
nothing missed a beat. Like I can
yeah,
imagine. I know that experience. I had mine in '03, 2 years ago. I had my 20 year, and I went with Matt. Will didn't go. Was in Florida now. First of all, Will and Matt say what up to you. They miss you. They say what
yes.
up. Uh,
Will's in Florida.
he moved to Florida like 2 years ago. Yeah,
What
yeah.
part of Florida?
Is it Boynton Beach? I want to say Boynton Beach, either West Palm or Boynton
Okay.
Beach. But yeah, he went down there with his wife and kids.
Matt's still in Rockland though, right?
Matt's now in no, Matt is now in Long Island. Him and his mom
Oh my God, it's
bought
so
a
far.
I know. Long Island is such a long place to get to. Mind you, he's on the edge. He's right next to Queens, but
Mike, I have a rule to Long Island.
what is that?
I will only go if it's after 12 a.m. and if it's before 6 a.m. That's the only time you can invite me to Long
Why
Island
is that?
because the traffic over there is
Yeah, yeah,
insane.
yeah. No, what am I saying? Of course, that's why. Yeah, it's Cross Island's right.
You better have a party at sometime after 12 between
You're
this
absolutely right.
gap.
Yeah, exactly. It's
The
going.
traffic is insane to go over
Yeah,
there. It's like people tell me all the time, like,
I agree.
can't do it, sorry.
I agree. Last thing, because you mentioned your mom and your parents earlier, and not to get too vulnerable and too deep, but me and you had a conversation the other day about just Rockland versus the city and your venture and your journey. And as you're telling me about you being pregnant and you going through what you went through in senior year and you being kicked out, how do you feel? How to ask this? Because I thought your mom would have understood given her experience with you, being a young mom herself. 16 years old, you said, right? She was?
Mhm.
I thought she would have understood it. So what is the dynamic then versus now with your mom and what did you learn from your parents then and now?
So my mom's experience was definitely very different than mine. She didn't get kicked out. BB was super supportive the whole time. I think my mom, she listened to her friends that were in previous relationships in which they were jaded, right? So they had this thing in which and a lot of Hispanics would say it, that you have to kick out the daughter so the guy can be responsible.
Really?
Yeah, it's this idea, antiquated idea, because at the end of the day it's stupid because you're taking away support from your child. And what bothered me with that situation was she had never met Al's mom.
Really?
She had never gone to Al's mom's house, right? So you're sitting there, you're kicking out your 17-year-old daughter without knowing where you're sending her to,
Infrastructure.
right? So I think that kind of bothered me, and I'm still jaded and I'm still bothered by it. I've never gotten an apology of like, I'm sorry this happened, right? Like that I did this. I don't think she realizes, and it's going back to what we were talking about in terms of parenting, right? You have the parents that are kind of selfish, and then you have the parents that give it all for their children.
Right.
My mom is still navigating being a full parent. Like it's hard for her, and it might be her upbringing, and I accept it and I respect her for it. But she thinks about herself and what's best for her before thinking about what's best for her kids. So when I was in Rockland and she went through this divorce, they could have potentially maybe tried to fix it had she thought about my brother and I, but she thought about herself and what she wanted. And at that time period, her friends weren't married, her friends weren't with someone serious. So I think she was more into this party life and being free, and her being married didn't fit into that picture. Right? So she didn't think of, hey, how does this affect my kids in the long term? So my brother and I ended up coming back into the city. There was a whole bunch of issues with my baby brother and my mom and his dad, that I got in the mix of. I think I was kind of thrown on this side, and I didn't have a parent. I didn't have someone to kind of guide me through things.
Give you the tutelage you needed.
Yes. So I was going through a lot of changes. I didn't have anyone to really support me. All I kept hearing from my dad was, don't be like your mom, and all this judgment from all different sides. And then I had Al as like my beacon, right? And it's kind of like who I kind of gravitated to and who was there for me and who. So then we have a baby, and my family loses their shit because I'm supposed to be the straight A student who's gonna go play basketball at UConn and all this stuff. And it's like, what are you doing? But then you don't realize that I didn't have that parent. I had to do what I had to kind of like navigate being confused and kind of trying to be an adult while out without having an adult present or having that role model to say, hey, let's sit down, let's think about this real quick.
Where's your dad in all this?
My dad was a weekend dad.
A weekend dad.
So I
Wow.
would see my dad on the weekends, and it's very different, right? You having a dad who's present 24/7. And then my dad is jaded with my mom and her stuff. So then I go to my dad, and it's like, and as a girl, you can't really talk to your dad, right? Like if you didn't grow up with your dad and have that rapport, you can't sit there and tell your dad, hey, dad, like this is what's happening. No, like
There's a disconnect.
there's a disconnect. As unfortunate as like I love my dad to death, I know he loves me so, so much, but I don't feel this nurture. Like what I'm creating with my boys and what Al has created with our sons, I don't feel that I had that. Like, I kid you not, my 9-year-old will come here and hug me 5 times a day. Probably more. I love you, mom. I love you, mom. I didn't get that. And you know what's crazy, Mike? That my sons hug me and kiss me and stuff. And like, I still feel this like tensing
The trauma.
because I'm not used
You're
to it.
not
I'm
used
not
to it.
used to this
I hear you.
cuddling and this affection,
I know. I'm with you.
but I've built it in them.
You're working to change the generational trauma that you were
Yeah.
imparted on. I'm with you. I know exactly how that feels.
But Mike, it's crazy. And like back to your question, my relationship with my mom is good now, but we have more of a sister relationship.
You
Like
mentioned
she's
that.
my bestie, she's like my twin, like you'll see posts like that. I don't think my mom had the capacity to be the parent I needed her to be because she didn't have that.
Right.
Right? But then I had enough social awareness to say, I had this, I don't want this for mine. I want something better.
Funny you say that because I want to say in the last 15 years, definitely in the last 10 years. Well, first of all, full disclosure, my mom, just like, well, not just like your mom. My mom is different in the respect of she she didn't grow up with her with my grandmother, her mom. There was a split in her life, a divorce. My grandfather left Haiti with her, took her to Brooklyn, like in high school, and there was a she missed out on my mom on my grandmother's nurturing. So my mom growing up she had a cold streak to her at times, very cold. And in fact, I always say my older sister took a lot of the shrapnel for me as far as getting the grind of parenting. Like she got a lot of the trauma. I don't want to say the A word, abuse, but I'll say it, just a lot of the verbal, emotional, social, emotional, just trauma. And my mom had to work through kinks to like be a decent mom, a good mom. I love my mom. I love my mom. But to your point, I've never heard the word I love you growing up. I didn't get the affection, really, the hugs, all that stuff. And now well, in '09, 2010, my mom had a brain tumor on her frontal lobe.
Is she okay?
Well, now she can't work anymore. She hasn't been able to work since for the last 15 years. So yeah, 15 years. She can't work no more. She's on disability. But she's fine. Still curses me out on the phone and still jaws at me and whatever. But it was touch and go with the tumor. I remember it was like there was a streak where like my mom wasn't getting up no more to go to work. She wasn't acting no more. And then she started being mean, like started like being mean spirited. And more than usual. Like she
You're like, wait, something's wrong here.
yeah, it's not the normal
Your
cursing.
the body
The
tells
body
you.
doesn't lie. Look, the body doesn't lie. And the body was not lying. And she was just being more angry. The verbiage was tougher. And me and my dad were like, what's going on with her? And then my dad was like, that's it. One day he just kidnapped her and took her, threw her in the car because she wouldn't get up. She lost her job for it. She wouldn't get up no more. She lost the willpower. Threw her in the car, took her to see a neurologist. And you're like, yo, we're glad you brought her. She has a golf ball on her frontal lobe. And they're like, yo, we'll do surgery, but just so you know, she might not make it. So I'm downtown on 23rd Street, East Side, but near the NYU hospital, near whatever hospital that is. And we're at the surgery. It's the only time I see my dad cry. And we're waiting in the surgery. Mind you, this is grim. The weekend before the surgery, I had to go to the bank with my mom, sign over stuff, property, just in case she died at the table, do stuff preliminary. So like, the mortality is in my head. She goes to the surgery. It's successful. Successful surgery. They took it out, everything. And after that incident, I said to myself at 24 years old, 25 years old, you know what? I take the lead here in the emotional aspect. In the last 10, 15 years, I've been the one saying I love you more. I've been the one hugging more. Yesterday she came to see me. 'Cause I asked her, can you make me a certain dish I wanted growing up? I haven't had it in a while. So she came by with my dad. And she dropped it off. I saw her. I kissed her hand. I kissed her on the cheek. I hugged her. I told her I love you. And this is stuff that we never did growing up. Never did. Yeah. And I had to say to myself, you know what? As youngins, we're old now, but as people who are children of traumatized parents, it seems like we have to take the lead now in instilling love, and not just to them, but not to our kids.
No, because it's also awareness, right? Like we have an awareness that they probably didn't have. So like I'm really big. And like I had this discussion with my 19-year-old, like probably like a couple months ago, because he's under this impression that I'm supposed to love him and I'm supposed to do laundry and I'm supposed to do all these things because I'm his parent. And I'm like, I need you to be aware of something. The things I do is because I choose to do it, because I choose to show you this is a choice I am making. Not all moms are like me, because I didn't have one that's like me. Like I literally stay here and I take my kid to school, I pick him up when I can, and it's my 14-year-old. I don't need to do this. I want to and choose to do it. And it's kind of like what I was telling my 19-year-old. When you have children, you decide the type of parent you want to be. It's not something that's just built in and, oh, here's the rule book. This is the type of parent you need to be.
Right. There's no rule book. There's no guidebook. There's no handbook. So with that being said, the final question, and it kind of ties it all together.
That's fine, Mike. I already see this is gonna be like a 2-part, 3-part series.
We'll come back a different episode because I'll need you because we have a lot more we haven't got into that I want to get into with you. So another time we'll get into it. But from what you've been saying earlier, and just now you kind of put it on the button, is love then a privilege or a right? I think I know your answer.
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege. I think so too. But why do you say that?
Because you have, so while some people, like it depends, right? Like when it comes to friendships, you kind of earn it, right? You earn someone's love. When you're born into love, right? The reason I say it's a privilege is because not all parents love their children, right? There's some people that have children that are because of rape or whatever it is, and you can never connect to that child. while there's some that do, there's some that don't. So it's a privilege because it doesn't mean that you're going to get it. And not just that, that you don't always get it like you want to get it. Right? It's like, I love you as my child, but I may not meet the love in your love language. Right? So that's why it's a privilege when you have it. And like, I think another thing to like the whole men thing, men are under this impression that women are their moms.
Hello.
And that love doesn't change, right? So when a man is with a woman, they're under this impression that, oh, she loves me. And they kind of equate that love to mom's love, where your mom, regardless of what you do, of what your mom will always love you no matter what, because she's your mom. This partner is not your mom. If you change, if you treat her bad, her love changes and evolves.
It's not unconditional like a parent's love.
It's not unconditional. And I think a lot of men don't understand that and have a hard time grappling that idea of a woman's love changes and evolves based on your behavior and your treatment.
You couldn't have said it any better. Could not have said it any better. And I think when you tapped into the conversation about men versus not men versus women, but tapping into men's psyche, you're right. You're ultimately right that men, in my opinion, need therapy to understand that ultimately.
So do women. We all do. We all need therapy.
We all do.
We all do therapy.
We all
A
do.
therapist is the best thing.
We all do. We all do. You all do. But to your point about the value of it with a man, is to understand amongst many things that love can be conditional, especially dependent on your actions. Especially, and I guess to your point, a lot of men feel like, no, it's my right to be loved.
It's like granted. It's a woman's love is taken for granted. And then when it changes, it's like, you have someone. Who are you with?
Yeah.
They never took accountability that, hey, ever stop to think about that maybe something changed somewhere along the way and it's not that there's someone in the closet hiding.
Okay. So on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. And I say wrap it up because it's been like 2 hours. And Charlie's taking my ass right now. Charlie's like, come on, Dad, let's play. And it's nice outside. It's like the first to me, it's gonna be the first real day of spring today.
Yes.
It's gonna be like 80 degrees today, so I can't.
I will be at the pool today.
I'm gonna be biking for a little bit, and then I'm gonna take her to the park. She loves the swings, so I'm gonna take her there too.
Nice.
But I hope we record again because I want to talk to you about a few other things like grief. Because in the past few years, I've seen you grieve openly. I've seen you.
Still grieving. Still grieving,
I know you
Mike.
have. I know you have, and I feel like we all grieve, whether it's not just actual mortality of people in our lives we've lost, but we grieve friendships, relationships, failed situations. I know for you, it's really near and dear how much you grieve. It was your great aunt, right? No, it was
My great great aunt.
great aunt, and
Yeah.
I can see how much she means to you. I can see how much you are still grieving, and how you're in this process with her, how you're still going through the motions of it all. And when I see it, I probably don't comment or I don't say anything, but I do feel it.
So my sleeve
Oh, let me see your sleeve.
started because of her.
No kidding.
So this tattoo here, I don't think you can see it, but it has her heartbeat. This is her heartbeat.
Wow.
Literally 10 minutes before she passed away.
Oh my God.
So she pretty much waited for me to get the echocardiogram machine, and I did it, and she passed.
Wow. She waited.
So it started off with that, and then I added my mom with her eyes,
Wow.
and it's just took a life of its own.
The life of its own. It's beautiful, and I've watched you over the years built upon your sleeve. And it's funny you say that because I can't wear. I'm wearing my Nike hoodie on, but I have a ribbon, a red ribbon on my left arm from my grandmother who died of AIDS. Transfusion gone wrong. Go figure. I know. Shout to doctors.
Advocacy,
Yeah,
advocacy.
advocacy. Yeah, shout to doctors. So I think in the next time we link up and talk, we'll touch upon not just grieving and on a morbid sense, but also what have these people meant to us. Because I feel like there's a lot more to learn about what your great.
Oh, and I've learned throughout the years too that you can grieve friendships, even with people that are still alive. Just friendships that go wrong.
Absolutely, yeah, and I meant that. I meant not just morbid or mortality grieving, but I feel like there's living, breathing situations where it just went different, and you're still grieving over the lost connection. So definitely next time we'll talk about that. But for now, I just want to give you your flowers. I was,
Bye.
this has been great. I miss
Yes.
I miss you
Thank
for
you
all
for
these
having
years.
me on.
Yes, thank you for coming
Text
on.
away, Mike. A text away always.
Yes, always a text away. I've appreciated you all these years. Always been fond of you. I always think you're the best, one of the best people I've ever met. And I'm proud to know you.
Same here.
Proud to have you in my life. And I wish you all the best. Until next time, huh?
All right.
All
See you
right.
then.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you.
Later.
Goodbye.